Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Mrs. Coons?
Here.
Mr. Reitner?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We got two today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like we need more energy.
So this is our last meeting of the year. The next thing on our agenda would be a nomination for council president pro tempore, if there's any from the floor, so we can start the year running.
How are we doing it this early? I thought it was at the beginning of the year.
You can do whatever.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. Can I nominate someone? Or do we have to
Whoever.
go into the meeting? Okay, I just nominate Laura Cochran.
She looks so excited.
Okay.
For the potentially last time.
Maybe.
Potentially the last time.
Potential.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the floor?
Yeah.
I'll third.
Anyone else?
Anybody
Alright.
want to throw their hat in, or their name in the hat?
Okay.
Just Laura.
So we, going once, going twice, sold to Mrs. Cochran for probably the 10th or 11th time.
I don't know, but thank you anyhow, and, again, as the president, you have to do a lot with nuisance abatement, so that is my goal, is to do more. We don't get a whole lot of support, but we're gonna keep on at it, and this time, we're gonna just start finding people, because we can't get them to clean up any other way. So just a heads up, people, for next, after the snow melts, after winter time, you're gonna need to clean up, or you're gonna have to get, pay fines.
It's a lot.
That's all we can do.
We're gonna follow up with everybody who's in their nuisance right now with their invoices.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, for all the hours of work on that front. It's a lot. Thank
And
you.
that's what I figured, just, she's already in the middle of so many
A lot.
things.
Yeah.
And it's like, why change it, like, let her, you know,
Yeah, got a lot to wrap up in a year.
you know.
All right, thanks, council. We're looking next for a motion to accept minutes from December 2nd, 2024. Council meeting as presented, not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept minutes for December 2nd, 2024, council meeting as presented and not read.
A second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from November 28th, 2024 to December 13th, 2024, totaling $171,169.68 as presented, not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from November 28th, 2024 to December 13th, 2024, totaling $171,169.68 as presented and not read.
I'll second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept bills from November 28th, 2024 to December 13th, 2024, totaling $337,340.80 as presented, not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from November 28th, 2024 to December 13th, 2024, totaling $337,340.83 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept October 2024 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept October 2024 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Reading of ordinances and resolutions, and there's quite a few. You have water? Okay. The floor is yours. Thanks, Tracy.
Resolution number 7413-2024, a resolution accepting the resignation of Kyle Ledger as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio, Section 1, council regretfully accepts the resignation of Kyle Ledger as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department and thanks him for his service. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect December 8, 2024. Resolution number 7414-2024, a resolution accepting the resignation of Patrick Hunt as a full-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, council regretfully accepts the resignation of Patrick Hunt as a full-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department and thanks him for his service. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect on December 15, 2024. Resolution number 7415-2024, a resolution approving the police chief to hire Patrick Hunt as a part-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, council approves to hire Patrick Hunt as a part-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Resolution number 7416-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into a 5-year property maintenance program agreement with Wide Open Property Maintenance Services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, the mayor and fiscal officer are authorized to enter into a 5-year agreement with Wide Open Property Maintenance for property maintenance services of all village-owned and village-responsible properties. Section 2, services will be provided on a weekly basis between May 1st and November 1st annually unless growing season dates happen differently. Section 3, a copy of the 5-year proposal agreement is attached here to and made part hereof as if fully written herein. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7417-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept a proposal from Hammond Tree and Associates to perform general engineering services for 3 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, the mayor is hereby authorized to accept the proposal from Hammond Tree and Associates to perform general engineering services. Section 2, these services will be for 3 years. Section 3, a copy of the proposal is attached here to and incorporated herein as if fully written. Section 4, that is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 5, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Resolution number 7418-2024. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the County of Summit for pavement maintenance located in the Village of Lakemore. Whereas the public interest of the Village of Lakemore requires the regular maintenance of roadways located in the Village of Lakemore, said improvement being referenced herein is the project. And whereas Summit County Engineer and the Village of Lakemore desire to enter into an agreement to confirm the project's construction cost and to designate the County of Summit as the lead agency for administration of competitive bidding and the Village of Lakemore as the lead agency for construction and construction engineering of the project. And whereas this council has determined by reviewing all pertinent information that authorizing the mayor to enter into an aforementioned agreement with County of Summit is necessary and in the best interest of the Village of Lakemore. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Section 1, the mayor is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with the County of Summit through the Summit County Engineer for its 2025 road paving and maintenance program. Section 2, a copy of the agreement is attached hereto and incorporated herein as if fully written. Section 3, that it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7419-2024. A resolution authorizing the mayor and village administrator to apply for funding from the Ohio Public Works Commission through the State Capital Improvement Program for water mains, sewer mains, and roadway replacements, and also allowing the mayor and village administrator to execute contracts as required. Whereas the State Capital Improvement Program and Local Transportation Improvement Program both provide financial assistance to political subdivisions for capital improvements to public infrastructure. And whereas the Village of Lakemore is planning to make capital improvements for waterline infrastructure improvement. And whereas the infrastructure improvement herein above described is considered to be a priority need for the community and is a qualified project under the OPWC programs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, the mayor and village administrator are hereby authorized to apply to the Ohio Public Works Commission for funds to improve the water main on 2nd Street as described above. Section 2, the mayor and village administrator are authorized to advertise for bids, accept bids, enter into any agreements, and execute contracts as may be necessary and appropriate for obtaining financial assistance in completing the project. Section 3, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the peace, health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7420-2024. A resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into a cooperative agreement for planning of 2nd Street water main replacement project between the Village of Lakemore and Hammondtree and Associates and the Ohio Water Development Authority and declaring an emergency. Whereas the Village of Lakemore, hereinafter referred to as the LGA, needs to replace the water main on 2nd Street. And whereas the LGA desires to obtain a loan from the Ohio Water Development Authority, hereinafter referred to as the OWDA, to finance costs of the planning of such facilities on terms set forth in the cooperative agreement defined below. And whereas the OWDA has indicated its willingness to make a loan for that purpose and on those terms, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the LGA hereby approves the planning of the aforesaid 2nd Street water main replacement in cooperation with the OWDA under the provisions terms and conditions set forth in the cooperative agreement, and hereby authorizes the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Fiscal Officer of the LGA to execute the cooperative agreement with the OWDA substantially in the form set forth in Exhibit A. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety of the village of Lakemore, for the reason that the immediate construction of the Second Street water main replacement at the earliest possible time is necessary in order to protect the health of the inhabitants of the LGA by providing safe and adequate drinking water to the residents of Second Street. Wherefore, this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately after its passage. Ordinance number 1873-2024. An ordinance to amend all ordinances pertaining to the water base and usage rates. Whereas the Village of Lakemore foresee a need to change the base rate and usage rates for the water services, and whereas the Council of the Village of Lakemore has determined the increase in water service rates are necessary in order to meet operating expenses, debt obligations, and capital reserve needs. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to amend the current rates. The new rates will be effective on the April 1st, 2025 bill. Section 2, the following base rates will apply. Residential in for water base rate every quarter will be $55.90. Residential out for water base rate every quarter will be $78.26. Commercial in for water base rate every quarter will be $55.90. Commercial out for water base rate every quarter will be $78.26. Section 3, the following usage rates will apply. The usage rate for all accounts in the Village of Lakemore will remain an additional $4 for every 1,000 gallons consumed and metered above the initial 1,000 gallons covered under the base rate. The usage rate for all accounts outside the Village of Lakemore will remain an additional $5.08 for each 1,000 gallons consumed and metered above the initial 1,000 gallons covered under the base rate. Section 4, the usage rates will continue to automatically increase 20 cents annually effective April 1st of each year. Section 5, all ordinances or resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolutions inconsistent with this ordinance will be repealed. All ordinances or resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolutions complying with this ordinance will remain in effect. Section 6, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 7, this ordinance shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1874-2024. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, Section 1, that to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the said Village of Lakemore during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, the following sums be, and they are hereby set aside and appropriated as follows in accordance with the attached list. Section 2, that there be appropriated for Fund Name General, Program 1, Security of Persons and Property, Police Salaries and Benefits, $661,298.24. Contractual, professional, and supplies, $89,000. Total police, $750,298.24. Fire salaries and benefits, $156,600. Contractual professional supplies, $30,000. Total fire, $186,600. Total program 1, $936,898.24. Program 2, leisure time, activities, parks. Total program 2, $43,000. Program 3, community environment, zoning, salaries, and benefits, $13,399.21. Material, supplies, contractual services, $480. Total program 3, $13,879.21. Program 4, general government, total mayor, $13,664. Total council, $24,814.40. Total finance, $64,954.97. Total land and building, $173,048. Total building zoning administration, $1,250. Total audit tax fees, $64,592. Total solicitor, $30,000. Total bank fees, $1,000. Total other charges, $5,500. Transfers out, $277,368.25. Total program 4, $656,191.62. Total general expenses, $1,649,969.07. Special revenues, street maintenance and repair, 2011. Salaries and benefits, $102,255.60. Material supplies, contractual services, $83,207.28. Total street maintenance, $185,462.88. Lakemore Fire Department grants, 2052, total $10,000. American Rescue Act Fund 2053, total $31,200. Permissive tax 2101, total $15,000. Cops Fast 2121, total $30,200. Police Disability and Pension 2131, total $25,630. Emergency Medical Services 2901. EMS salaries and benefits, $106,273.79. EMS materials, supplies, contractual services, $33,000. Total EMS expenses, $139,273.79. Lakemore Fire Department donations, 2903, total $1,200. Fire EMS levy fund, 2904. Fire levy salaries and benefits, $412,427.74. Levy materials, supplies, contractual services, $10,000. Total fire levy expenses, $422,427.74. Bond retirement, 3101, $277,368.25. Capital improvement, 4901. Capital improvement total, $140,000. Total special revenue, $1,277,762.66. Enterprise funds, water operating fund, 5101. Water salaries and benefits, $235,821.19. Water materials, supplies, contractual services, $284,214. Debt services, $46,983.78. Total water expenses, $567,019.97. Sanitary sewer operating fund, 5201. Sewer salary and benefits, $176,762.06. Sewer materials, supplies, contractual services, $1,712,750. Debt services, $4,220. Total sewer expenses, $1,893,732.06. Trash services fund, 5601. Trash salary and benefits, $38,565.82. Trash materials, supplies, contractual services, $275,586. Total trash expenses, $314,151.82. Storm sewer operating fund 5701, total for fees and materials $11,346.07. Total enterprise funds $2,786,249.92. Special agency funds, enterprise deposits 5781, total $1,000. CRA, ERA deposits fund 9201, total $1,000. Total special agency funds $2,000. 2025 budget totals $5,715,981.65. Section 3, and the village fiscal officer is hereby authorized to draw warrants on the village treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditure, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages, except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 4 of this ordinance shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1877-2024. An ordinance to amend ordinance 1849-2024, Employee Policies and Procedures Manual, to include a policy requiring completion of virtual training on reporting fraud, theft, and misuse of public funds. Whereas effective March 28, 2024, Ohio mandates all public officials and employees to complete a virtual training provided by the Ohio Auditor of State on reporting fraud, theft, and misuse of public funds. The training details and requirements are outlined in Bulletin 2024-005. And whereas new employees must complete the training within 30 days of starting, and all must refresh every 4 years. And whereas the training is free, on demand, and includes CPE certificates, ensuring compliance and preparedness for future audits. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, effective March 28, 2024, Ohio mandates all public officials and employees to complete a virtual training provided by the Ohio Auditor of State on reporting fraud, theft, and misuse of public funds. The training details and requirements are outlined in Bulletin 2024-005. Section 2, the mayor and council have determined the completion of the virtual training provided free of charge by the Ohio Auditor of State on reporting fraud, theft, and misuse of public records should become a policy for the Village of Lakemore public officials and employees. This virtual training must be revisited every 4 years. All new employees must complete the training within 30 days of starting. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the peace, health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this ordinance shall take effect immediately. Ordinance number 1878-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $17,546.59 for postage, retainer, and franchise fees, and building supplies. Street Construction, Maintenance, and Repair Fund 2011, $33,500 for the First Street Waterline Project and snowplow truck repairs. Permissive Motor Vehicle License Tax Fund 2101, $20,000 for the First Street Water Main Project. Capital Improvement Fund 4901, $10,000 for the First Street Waterline Project. Water Operating Fund 5101, $48,916.72 for the First Street Waterline Project and supplies. Trash Operating Fund 5601, $2,000 for salaries. CRA ERA Deposits Fund 9201, $3,100 for the Hidden Lake expenses. Section 2, Council approves to increase revenues in Water Operating Fund 5101, $20,000. CRA ERA Deposits Fund 9201, $3,100. Section 3, Treasury for payments for many of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages, except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 4, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately. There you go.
Thank you, Tracy. Moving next into the mayor's report, I just have a quick report that the Lakemore Food Pantry is going to operate this Wednesday at 4:30 at Lakemore United Methodist Church. That's really my only update. It's a week earlier than it would normally operate, and I just want to wish everyone a very safe and beautiful and blessed Christmas. This is our last meeting for the year. Council report, Mrs. Cochran.
Okay, I would also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year. And I did want to mention how lucky and grateful that we are for, and how much appreciated our safety services, both fire and police, our road department, and everybody who sits here, everything you do all year long, Mayor and, Tracy up front and Megan and all the council. We're not in this for the fun, because it's not. But we have a good group, and I know a lot of people could go a lot of other places, especially our road crew and our police and fire, and make a lot of more money than what we can pay. So they're appreciated. We had a little appreciation lunch today for them, and I wanted to thank that Casa del Lago who provided a nice lunch. I wish more people could come, but a lot of them have side jobs and working and stuff like that. But we appreciate everybody. I know I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. We appreciate the employees and everybody that puts in a little bit of time and effort to helping run the village and making life better here. That's it.
Thank you. Sam.
I second that. Happy holidays.
Absolutely.
And I know that I couldn't make it just because I had, work. But
Right.
For sure, I want to thank all of the staff, you two that are here, and everybody else. The road crew has put in a lot of work this year.
They've been busy.
With new lines and a new tower. So, and our safety services.
Also water
as well.
breaks.
They have lots of water breaks.
But yeah, so, but I also want to just announce our next council workshops as well. So they're going to be January 14th at 6 p.m. That's actually the only one we have on the docket. We had one for 24th. We don't get a lot of breaks, but we decided to take one then. So, but yeah,
Eve.
Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
but that's it for me.
Thanks, Sam. John.
Oh, I'd also like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year coming up. Also like to remind everybody that Spectrum Community Channel 1023, they serve the communities by providing access to local government meetings, programs, and information on community events. You can look them up anywhere on any social media. Have at it. It's Springfield Lakemore Channel 1023. You can find it on Facebook, X, Twitter, Witter. I don't know what they are. I have no idea what they are.
What happens if somebody can't get that station?
You got a YouTube channel that you can watch it on?
Nope,
Why not?
I'm not rich.
Social media, that's what he was just saying. You
Yeah,
can
all
check
the
them out
social
on there
media,
too.
they're all there.
Well,
Or-
And,
Short term
and they're
meeting.
on TV as well.
Yeah, they're on TV 10:23.
I can't count all this.
Well, this is a great opportunity for the mayor to plug the Springfield
Yeah,
Lakemore,
I'm gonna look at
the
that.
Springfield Lakemore Library. You didn't let me finish. Thanks for interrupting me, though. The Springfield Lakemore Library. I'm thrilled to give them a plug. You're free anytime they're open to go in there and log on to their computers, free of charge.
They'll even help
Well, I don't
you.
wanna do that, I'm busy.
Well, then you don't wanna watch it.
And then besides that, we usually have a reporter here who reports for the Southside
Southside
Leader.
Leader.
So
Yeah.
if you can read, you can get a paper and, the information we talk about.
Yeah.
And resolutions and stuff is in the paper.
I mean, the information's out there. There's
It sure
ample
is.
opportunities to
Carry
get
on.
it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
That's good.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Nikki, you're up.
Did we say anything about Shop with a Cop?
No.
Did
I
we?
didn't.
Okay, because we gotta do like big shout outs to everyone who helped Shop with a Cop happen. From our village administrator to officers to, I mean, just everybody. There is not just, when you hear Shop with a Cop, maybe you think like, oh, it's just cops. It's so many other safety services and just huge shout out. It's everyone's favorite event every year. It's the funnest event. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that works really hard to put that on. And I know how much we appreciate it and the residents appreciate Shop with the Cop. So thank you from everyone. And we don't have any, I mean, just Christmas is coming up. I don't think we have any events or anything, right? So just have a good Christmas and a happy New Year and be safe and enjoy your families. And
The mayor's gonna ride around a fire truck in Santa Claus too.
We already did that.
yeah, we already did it.
We already did that.
November 30th.
And that's all.
You weren't
That's
home.
all. That's all I have for me. Thanks, guys.
I would like to announce that the next council meeting will be January 6, 2025. And the next one will be on a Tuesday, January 21st, being that the 20th is Martin Luther King Day, and the meetings are 6 p.m. here. I would also take the opportunity to thank our public service people who are out in all kinds of nasty weather, repairing lines, plowing snow, throwing salt, and doing what our public employees are supposed to do. And being a past service person for the federal government, I understand that sometimes the work is thankless, and I thank them for what they do. They're out there in the cold, and they're working for our betterment. I also like to wish everyone a happy Merry Christmas and a very happy and prosperous and healthy New Year.
Thanks, Ed. Heather.
All right, to kind of piggyback on Nikki, and she said that, you know, it's a lot more. We actually, Springfield High School hosts, but there is so many other than Springfield and Lakemore that do this. There's Brimfield, there's, I believe Talmadge, there's Coventry, there's like so many, I believe
Hartville,
Town.
Uniontown, we had Akron
We had
for
Akron
the
with us
first
this
time.
year.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not just the small thing, like, it's huge, so.
Yeah, I don't think people, you're right, I don't think people realize that it's not just Springfield that's doing it. We have other entities coming in to join us at the high school, which is, it's so cool to see so many different uniforms come in and do that event with their kids
So,
in each community.
And I felt so bad because I was sick and I missed wrapping the presents and things like that, so I was so disappointed because I look forward to that every
It's the
single year.
funnest event, isn't it?
Yes, so I kind of want to give a shout out to everybody that, you know, is involved in even including the other, neighboring communities. I would also like to give a shout out to Lakemore Lighthouse Church over here on Ithaca. They did a, photos with Santa food drive for the Spartan Snack Pack. So all you had to do was bring a food item and I gave them kind of a list of some of the things we were kind of in most need of, and so they were so generous and wonderful to do that for us. And then because we do our monthly food distribution for the families that receive the food bags, they also donated toys for us to give out this year as well. So
That's nice.
a lot of Fortnite toys and Marvel characters and PJ Masks. It was nice to be able to have the families come in and pick out a few stocking stuffers and things like that. So to kind of help, with that. So that, and Mrs. Merchant over here at Springfield Assembly. Every month
awesome.
she gets
great.
volunteers that comes and helps us do our monthly packings for, the weeks and things like that. So shout out to Springfield Assembly. And then Maranatha, they have done food drives for us as well. In November, they had purchased turkeys from Duma Meats for the families that get the pantry things. So shout out to them as well. So it's nice to live in a community where, everybody pulls together to help everybody out, to make life a little better and easier for everyone that they can. So it's just, that's what I love about Lakemore and the Springfield community. Everybody pulls together and takes care of our own. So it's wonderful to have that. And I just would like to wish everybody as well a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a very Happy New Year.
And I'm just gonna piggyback off of yours, because one group that we didn't mention that does a lot year after year is Springfield Cares. So a big thank you. They took 69 families this year and spread them out, and they just do a lot, as well as giving us candy here.
I would like to
And,
piggyback on Laura
We're all gonna piggyback today.
and thank the St. Vincent de Paul Society
Yes,
and the
correct.
Nativity of the Lord Jesus Catholic Church
Yes.
for servicing 26 families. Each child got 2 gifts, and it was the first year ever that all the gifts came back at the same time.
Well, that was good.
Can I piggyback?
Yeah,
Okay,
go
I'm piggyback. Thank you, Heather, because your pantry is so helpful, and you give out so many great things, and I deliver to families, and I just want to say thank you to you, because that last giving that it was huge. So we all appreciate when Heather goes hard. She goes hard, okay? My whole van was loaded of food. So thank you, Heather, for all the hard work you do for that pantry,
Of course.
because I feed a lot of kids with that
Always a
food.
lesson.
So
Yes.
shout out to
Yes.
Heather. Thank you. That's
Thank
all.
you.
I'm done.
Thank you.
No more piggybacking.
And then I do have one more thing. I knew there was something that I was forgetting. And Ed and his wife run the St. Vincent de Paul's, and every month they faithfully donate. Him and his wife go to Sam's Club. They message me and they're like, "What do you need this month?" And I let them know, and they bring it to me. And matter of fact, Ed has food in his car tonight for me for the Spartan snack pack. So again, it's just a wonderful, wonderful community, and everybody helps.
Can we
everybody.
give Ed our order too?
Yeah.
Right, Ed?
Listen, sometimes he'll be like, your kids need some macaroni and cheese. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Ed. So thank you, Ed, and
What kid
everybody.
doesn't need macaroni?
I know,
Right.
right?
What
I'm like,
adults?
I'm not gonna say no to macaroni and cheese cups.
Well,
Thank you,
not
Ed.
this time.
Anyone else before we do the
I
administrative?
was gonna say, I wanted to piggyback off somebody just so I don't feel left out.
We're just so grateful for everyone in this
Yeah,
community.
Go ahead, 'cause I have one thing after you're done.
Okay, so for the 2025 road maintenance program that we're doing with the county again, it's a great opportunity because they do all the legwork to find contractors, get the best prices. I want to try to get a lot of the striping done again for our crosswalks. I want to create some of the new crosswalk areas. And then we have some catch basins that we want to get replaced. So I had given everybody a copy of the program. I'm going to kind of figure out pricing wise so we don't spend all of our money. 2nd Street water line, that's been an ongoing water break since we replaced the sewer line on that road.
It wasn't slated to be.
It was not slated to be replaced. We didn't have any problems when they did the storm sewer work 2 years ago. So luckily, Ohio Public Works Commission, I was trying everybody, and they have emergency funding. They said yes, they would do half grant, half loan. So we will get going with Hammondtree, so he can start designing that. So 2nd Street will end up having a new water main, so wasn't planned, but
Unnecessary.
necessary. So I
Well,
apologize.
thank you though
It's-
for reaching out to everybody and getting.
Yeah, trying to get money,
For sure.
so, Yep, and thank you to my guys, because it's been nonstop with the water breaks.
So I just have one thing, and you reminded me that there is a free roller skating party on the morning of Martin Luther King Day from 10 to 12. So just put that on your calendars. I'm not sure who's paying for it, but it's gonna be free admission to the kids. So it's reserved.
Okay.
Okay,
What day was that again, Richard?
the Martin Luther King Day.
January
No, the
20.
January 20th.
Thank you. I was looking for that. We don't miss a free skate.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun too. That's all I have. We can move into,
Old business?
we do have old business. Mr. Ray, go ahead, please.
Sure.
With two.
So first, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1873-2024. This is an ordinance to amend all ordinances pertaining to the water base and usage rights.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson?
No.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Next.
All right, next up. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1874-2024. This is an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. We're moving into new business. Mrs. Cochran, you have three.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7413-2024, a resolution accepting the resignation of Kyle Ledger as part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the three reads.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Second, the original.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to make a resolution to adopt, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7414-2024, a resolution accepting the resignation of Patrick Hunt as full-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department. Again, I'd like to dispense with the three reads.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
I'll second the original as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Lastly, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7415-2024, a resolution approving the police chief to hire Patrick Hunt as part-time sergeant with the Lakemore Police Department. Again, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the three reads.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Glad he's sticking around. Yes.
Yeah, welcome back, right?
That was short.
Sorry to see you go, but glad to have you back.
Mr. Ray, you're up next, please.
Cool. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1878-2024. This is an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with three readings.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
And the original.
I will second the original.
Roll call.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, then, thank you, Sam. Mr. Strittmatter, you have quite a few.
Yep. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 7416-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and physical officer to enter into a 5-year property maintenance program agreement with the Wide Open Property Maintenance Services. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the three reads.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reitner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Second the original?
Thanks, Heather. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7417-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the proposal from Hammontree and Associates to perform general engineering services for 3 years. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with 3 reads.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson? Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
I'll second the original?
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7418-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with the county of Summit for pavement maintenance located within the village of Lakemore. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with 3 reads.
I second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thank you, Sam. Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7419-2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and the village administrator to apply for funding for the Ohio Public Works Commission through the State Capital Improvement Program for the water mains, sewer mains, and roadways replacement, and also allowing the mayor and village administrator to execute contracts as required. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with 3 reads.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
I'll second the original?
Roll call.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 7420-2024, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into a cooperative agreement for the planning of the Second Street Water Main Replacement Project between the village of Lakemore and Hammontree and Associates and the Ohio Water Development Authority and declaring it an emergency. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with 3 reads.
I second.
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, last but not least, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1877-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1849-2024, Employee Policies and Procedures Manual, to include the policy requiring completion of the virtual training on reporting fraud, theft, and misuse of public funds. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with 3 reads.
I second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
I'll second the original?
Roll call.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I have no reason to move into an executive session tonight, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mr. Reichner?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
6:54.
Not bad.
Wow. All that.
Pretty good.
All that reading.
Good. Yeah. Good meeting, council.